Open worlds are about to change forever. From massive fantasy realms to next-gen life sims and long-awaited sequels, these 14 upcoming open-world games are set to redefine the genre for years to come. Let's jump in, pushing the series in a new direction with Resident Evil 9. And while it's not a full open world, it's confirmed to be the most open Resident Evil ever made. The Game Awards 2025 reveal brought back Leon S. Kennedy, but kept details deliberately mysterious. What is clear is the shift in structure. Instead of tightly linear levels, this looks closer to large, interconnected regions with minimal loading. Think the scale of Village, but expanded. Spaces that loop back on themselves, hide secrets, and reward exploration. Leon's return suggests ties to earlier entries, and the Requiem subtitle hints at closure, possibly the end of a long-running arc. Capcom has been refining the balance between tension and freedom, and this feels like the next step. Expect survival horror to stay front and center, limited resources, smart enemy placement, and environmental puzzles that force you to traverse wide areas rather than straight paths. Safe rooms won't feel safe, they'll feel earned. Resident Evil 9 isn't trying to become GTA, it's evolving its own formula. More freedom, more atmosphere, and horror that breathes instead of rushing you forward. Spider Studio is going much bigger with Greedfall: The Dying World, turning their cult favorite RPG into a far more ambitious open-world experience. Set on a completely new continent running parallel to the first game's events, this sequel introduces new cultures, factions, and ecosystems shaped by colonial expansion and conflict. What made Greedfall special was choice, and that's being expanded heavily here. Diplomatic solutions, faction loyalty, and moral decisions now influence entire regions, not just individual quests. Your companions react more dynamically, and relationships play a bigger role in how the story unfolds. The world itself is larger and more diverse, with jungles, mountains, coastlines, and dense settlements encouraging exploration through hidden locations and environmental storytelling. Combat has been refined with smoother mechanics, deeper magic and technology trees, and better party AI. With a bigger budget and clearer vision, The Dying World looks like Spiders finally delivering the large-scale RPG they always aimed for. Flying under the radar, Star Rupture is a sci-fi open-world survival game built around exploration, base building, and co-op on a planet literally tearing itself apart. The core idea is dimensional ruptures scattered across the world. These rifts warp reality itself, changing gravity, physics, and environmental behavior. One zone might let you leap massive distances in low gravity, while another distorts time or spawns hostile entities from fractured dimensions. Every region plays by different rules, forcing constant adaptation. Base building plays a huge role. You construct outposts designed to survive unstable environments, gather rare resources, research alien technology, and create supply routes across dangerous terrain. Where you build and how actually matters. Up to 4-player co-op lets you explore rifts together, defend bases from dimensional threats, and coordinate survival strategies. Solo play works, but teamwork shines in high-risk zones. There's no release date yet, but if you enjoy survival games with fresh ideas, Star Rupture is absolutely one to watch. At number 11, The Wayward Realms is the spiritual successor to Daggerfall, created by original Elder Scrolls veterans Ted Peterson and Julian LeFay. This is a true grand RPG, built around massive procedurally generated worlds using modern technology. The aim isn't empty scale, but living realms filled with systems-driven gameplay. Kingdoms, cities, dungeons, and wilderness are generated dynamically, with handcrafted elements layered in to keep the world meaningful. Quests aren't tightly scripted. Instead, they emerge naturally from NPC behavior, faction politics, and your actions. Reputation matters. How people and groups see you directly affects opportunities and consequences. Character progression is fully classless. You improve by doing. Fight more to grow stronger, sneak to become stealthier, and use magic to master it naturally. The Wayward Realms is still years away, but if it delivers even part of its vision, it could redefine true open-world RPG freedom. Halfway through the list, Soulframe is Digital Extreme's ambitious move into open-world fantasy. From the creators of Warframe, this is a slower, more atmospheric experience, focused on exploration, melee combat, and mysticism, rather than non-stop speed. Soulframe takes inspiration from Slavic and Eastern European folklore. The world feels grounded and natural, filled with ancient forests, crumbling ruins, and environments shaped by spirits and decay. It's a fantasy setting that feels lived in rather than flashy. Gameplay adapts Warframe's fluid movement into something more deliberate. Combat emphasizes melee weapons, magic, and positioning, while exploration plays an equally important role. Seamless regions replace traditional loading screens, encouraging continuous discovery, dynamic events, and large world encounters. Narratively, Soulframe focuses on themes of rebirth and balance. Quests revolve around restoring nature and healing the world, instead of constant combat. It's still early in development, but with Digital Extreme's proven long-term support, Soulframe has the potential to become something truly special. Moving on to number 9, ArcAge Chronicles is XL Games' standalone open-world action RPG set in the ArcAge universe. This is not an MMO, but a fully reimagined single-player and co-op experience designed from the ground up. ArcAge Chronicles acts as a prequel, exploring the origins of the world and the events that shaped its continents. Instead of playing a chosen hero, the story focuses on grounded characters caught in large-scale historical moments, giving the narrative a more personal tone. The open world emphasizes freedom and reactivity. Exploration rewards you with lore, equipment, and branching quest outcomes that affect NPC behavior and regional storylines. Combat shifts away from tab targeting to real-time action, focusing on dodging, positioning, and skill timing across multiple classes. Crafting and building are deeply integrated, allowing you to establish bases, manage resources, and influence trade. With a focus on choice and modern action gameplay, this could be the ArcAge experience many players always wanted. At number 8, Inzoi is the next-generation life simulation game that's putting serious pressure on The Sims. Built in Unreal Engine 5, it aims for photorealistic look with highly detailed characters, realistic lighting, and natural animations that make the world feel genuinely alive. What truly sets Inzoi apart is its fully explorable open city. Instead of being confined to individual lots, your characters live in a seamless urban environment where you can walk the streets, visit shops, and interact with NPCs in real public spaces. The city functions as a living ecosystem rather than a backdrop. Character creation is extremely deep, covering facial structure, body types, clothing, and personality traits. Simulation systems go further by tying careers and hobbies directly into the world. Musicians perform at real venues, jobs involve visible activities, and relationships develop organically through shared spaces. Currently targeting a 2026 PC release, Inzoi represents a bold, modern evolution of the life sim genre. Breaking into the top 7, Hytale is an ambitious sandbox RPG that's been in development for years, aiming to blend Minecraft-style creativity with real RPG depth. Developed by Hypixel Studios and backed by Riot Games, this is a project with massive scope and long-term vision. Hytale mixes voxel-based building with structured adventure content. Alongside mining and crafting, you'll explore dungeons, fight bosses, interact with quest-giving NPCs, and progress through a more traditional RPG-style journey. World Generation combines procedural biomes with handcrafted adventure zones, giving exploration both freedom and purpose. Combat is far more advanced than typical sandbox games, featuring different weapon types, dodging, blocking, and skill-based encounters. Boss fights are designed as proper challenges, not simple stat checks. Modding is built directly into the game's foundation, allowing players to create custom modes, maps, and systems. Still without a release date, Hytale is clearly playing the long game, and if it delivers, it could evolve for decades. Entering the top 6, Crimson Desert is Pearl Abyss's massive open-world fantasy RPG, launching on March 19, 2026. Originally planned as a Black Desert Online prequel, it is evolved into a fully standalone single-player epic. Set on the continent of Pywell, you play as Cliff, leader of the Greymane's mercenary group. After a brutal ambush by the Black Bears leaves your company shattered, the journey focuses on survival, rebuilding your forces, and confronting their ruthless leader, Myrdin. Combat is fast, weighty, and cinematic, built on Pearl Abyss's Black Space engine. Expect brutal melee combos, horseback battles, and large-scale boss fights that blend spectacle with control. The world itself is richly detailed, with distinct regions, dynamic weather, and seamless exploration. Beyond combat, activities like hunting, crafting, and fishing reward curiosity. With strong previews and huge ambition, Crimson Desert is shaping up as one of 2026's defining RPGs. Breaking into the top 5, Ballad of Antara is a Souls-inspired fantasy open world with a strong cinematic focus. Developed by LI Games, this debut title blends dark fantasy with Chinese martial arts, drawing from wuxia traditions while leaning into a more ominous, corrupted tone. Combat clearly takes inspiration from Souls and Sekiro, emphasizing precise timing, pattern recognition, and mastery. What sets it apart is its integration of Chinese martial philosophy, using stances, forms, and chi-based mechanics that add identity beyond imitation. Expect challenging but fair encounters that reward skill. Visually, the game looks stunning, with photorealistic characters, detailed armor, and environments that mix natural beauty with supernatural decay. The narrative explores balance, power, and responsibility, supported by NPCs with real motivations. With a 2026 target, Ballad of Antara signals a major AAA push from Chinese developers. Into the top 4, The Blood of Dawnwalker is a narrative-driven dark fantasy RPG from Rebel Wolves, a studio founded by former Witcher 3 developers. This is their first original IP, and it leans heavily into choice-driven storytelling. You play as a Dawnwalker, cursed with vampirism but still clinging to humanity. Set in a plague-ridden medieval Europe, the world is bleak, superstitious, and morally gray. Every major decision reshapes the story, altering quest lines, character fates, and even entire regions. Vampire mechanics are deeply integrated. Feeding increases your power but erodes your humanity, while sunlight becomes a constant threat that forces careful planning around day and night. Combat mixes grounded swordplay with supernatural abilities, pitting you against vampire hunters and other dark forces. With dense lore, oppressive atmosphere, and strong narrative focus, Dawnwalker is shaping up to be one of 2026's most exciting dark fantasy RPGs. Our bronze medal goes to Fable, Playground Games' long-awaited reboot of the classic RPG franchise. This isn't Fable 4, but a full reimagining, built from the ground up after years of development. Fable returns to its roots with British humor, fairy tale fantasy, and player choice shaping both your character and the world. Playground Games brings its open-world expertise to a single, massive fantasy Britain, filled with rolling hills, dense forests, lively towns, and dark dungeons. The morality system is back and more reactive. Your decisions don't just change your appearance, but how NPCs and entire regions respond to you. Be heroic and earn admiration, or embrace villainy and rule through fear, all wrapped in classic, absurd British humor.
Combat is modernized with action-focused melee, ranged, and magic systems designed to stay accessible while feeling impactful. Targeting 2026, Fable is shaping up to be a true comeback for the franchise.
Our runner-up is Light No Fire, Hello Games' most ambitious project yet. This isn't just a large open world, it's an entire fantasy planet built at true Earth scale, with no loading screens and complete freedom to explore. The game takes place on a single shared world featuring continents, oceans, mountains, forests, and deserts, all connected seamlessly. Procedural generation is used to create believable ecosystems, meaning distant landmarks you see can actually be reached. Exploration is the core focus, not being a chosen hero, but simply existing in a world full of history and mystery. Multiplayer is fully integrated. Thousands of players can share the same planet, building settlements together, exploring cooperatively, or playing solo without restrictions. Sailing oceans, climbing mountains, riding dragons, and uncovering ancient ruins define the adventure. With survival mechanics, crafting, progression systems, and long-term world evolution, Light No Fire aims to redefine scale in open-world games. Claiming the #1 spot is Grand Theft Auto VI, the most anticipated game of all time. After more than a decade since GTA 5, Rockstar Games is finally delivering a sequel expected to redefine open-world design. Set in Vice City and the surrounding Florida-inspired regions, GTA VI features Rockstar's largest and most detailed map ever, spanning cities, swamps, highways, and small towns. For the first time, the series introduces a female protagonist, Lucia, alongside her partner, with a Bonnie and Clyde-style story focused on crime, relationships, and ambition. The world promises unprecedented realism with advanced NPC AI, dynamic weather, reactive economies, and deeply interactive environments. Gameplay improvements include refined shooting, driving, movement, and more complex heists. Launching in November 2026 on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, GTA VI isn't just another release, it's a cultural event that will define gaming for the next generation. And there you have it, 14 of the most anticipated open-world games coming soon. From Earth-scale exploration in Light No Fire to long-awaited giants like the Elder Scrolls 6, plus ambitious newcomers like Where Winds Meet and Inzoi, the future of open-world gaming looks stacked. Which one are you most excited for? Drop it in the comments. If you enjoy clean, no-fluff game recommendations like this, consider subscribing. It really helps the channel grow.